Learning about investing can be overwhelming at first. You'll come across all sorts of complex investing terms, such as alpha, blue chip stocks, expense ratios, market capitalization or volatility, with abbreviations such as ETFs, NAV, ESG, YTD, or rules of thumb, such as the rule of 4%, the rule of 72, or the 5-25 rule. But what if I told you that investing doesn't have to be that complicated? In fact, achieving financial success can be incredibly easy if you just stick to a few key principles. And in today's video, we will focus on maybe the most important personal finance and investing principle that allows you to build wealth without putting in much effort. Sounds too good to be true? Well, stick around and you will see that the philosophy that I share with you in today's video can be a real eye-opener. Hello fellow intelligent investors, my name is René Zellman and we are going to start today's video with a thought experiment. Imagine two people, Phil and Leon. Phil follows the start early investing philosophy and he invests $1,000 a month for the first 10 years of his career. Assuming he earns 9% annually on his investments, he ends up with $193,000 after the first 10 years. Phil then never saves again, but keeps that money in his investment account for another 30 years where the money keeps compounding at a rate of 9% annually. Now, contrast this approach to Leon's start late investing philosophy. Leon does not save and invest a single dime for the first 10 years of his career. But then, unlike Phil, he invests $1,000 a month for the last 30 years of that 40-year period. Now the interesting question is, who ends up with more money after the entire 40-year period? Phil, who only saved for 10 years and then did absolutely nothing? Or Leon, who started out living his best life and then eventually really committed himself for the next 30 years and saved 3 times more than Phil did? Well, the shocking truth is that Phil beats Leon by more than $1 million. He sits on a net worth of around $2.8 million after 40 years, while Leon accumulated around $1.8 million. And it's actually easy to come up with even more shocking, eye-opening numbers. Because even if Phil would only commit to investing $1,000 a month for the first 6 years and then stop for the next 34 years, he would still end up with a higher net worth than Leon after that 40-year period. So this brings us to the first key takeaway of this video. Undeniably starting early, saving as much as you can as early as you can, and then letting compound interest do the hard work for you is the most powerful personal finance hack that you will ever come across. But let me now explain 3 nuances that are worth internalizing and that you should be aware of. First of all, we used 9% as the interest earned on Phil's and Leon's investments. And that's pretty much the return that US stocks have delivered historically over the last 100 years or so. However, the larger the annualized return that you are able to achieve, the more costly it is to delay your savings and investments. If we assume Phil and Leon invest actively and are able to earn 11% annually, for example, Phil would end up with $4.3 million if he stopped saving altogether after 10 years, and Leon would accumulate $2.8 million. If on the other hand we assume a lower rate of return, say 5%, well then Leon will actually end up beating Phil's track record. Secondly, I just want to highlight that money saved earlier will represent a much larger percentage of your final net worth than money saved later in your life. Let's consider Alicia's situation, for example. If we assume Alicia invests $1,000 a month for 40 years and earns 9% annually, she will end up with around $4,680,000, of which only $480,000 represent the contributions she made. If we now consider the impact each year of savings had on Alicia's final net worth, then we can see that the first few years represent a much larger percentage of Alicia's final net worth. The contributions of just the first year, for example, will be worth $413,000 after the 40-year period, representing around 8.8% of Alicia's final net worth. The contributions she made in year 30, on the other hand, will only grow to around $30,000, representing 0.65% of your final net worth. In fact, the first 10 years worth of contributions combined with the interest earned will make up 60.9% of the final portfolio value of leisure. I think this is absolutely bonkers, and again it emphasizes that the first few years of your investing journey are absolutely critical. The third point that I wanted to highlight here is that the math that I have shared with you in today's video supports the idea that personal finance is actually only around 20% about knowledge, skill, and the numbers, and 80% about individuals' behavior. Knowing what to do is one thing, but actually doing it is usually a whole different story. So the point is that you don't need to be an investing genius to do very well in investing. No, all you need is to know that starting early and then patiently letting compound interest do the hard work for you, do its magic, will do wonders and can be incredibly powerful. If you stick to these two simple principles, you will do very well in life and especially financially. Almost no effort is actually needed to become a millionaire, and you don't need to be familiar with any of the investing terms or abbreviations that I shared with you at the beginning of the video. But then again, being aware of the power of compounding is one thing, actually having the willpower and the self-control and delaying gratification for the first 10 years of your career is often a whole different thing. Now, if you want to learn more about another behavioral factor that may complicate your wealth building journey, a psychological bias that may be so powerful that you are unable to exploit the greatest opportunities offered by the market, then I recommend you watch the following video next. Take care.